again. I want to continue our discussion on promotion. We're going to talk about public relations. We talked about how advertising is paid for, publicity is prayed for. Well, public relations is essentially a subset of publicity in which we're actually actively managing messaging through publicity channels. Publicity happens whether a company wants it to or not. Public relations is how we actually actively manage that messaging through the process as much as we can, because we lose control of the message essentially once it leaves our ranks. We're hoping that whoever the messenger is that carries it on from there, technically free of charge, says the types of things that we're actively trying to manage that message to be. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's traditionally happened, and we're going to show kind of the new model and how that then translates into some newer forms of marketing, guerrilla marketing, viral, and that sort of thing. So first of all, if I was to summarize what traditional public relations is, first of all, we would type up a press release, and we'd have something newsworthy to say. We couldn't really just say, hey, our company did something great, because no news outlet would be interested in sharing that information. But if we had an actual compelling human interest story in which our company played a role, that would be something newsworthy to say that a media outlet might be interested in picking up and running with. After that, after we crafted our press release that had the story that we wanted to say, we'd act as a media planner. We'd start to understand who are the media players in our market or in the markets we're trying to reach, who has the highest likelihood of being interested in it, and who has the highest likelihood of being a source for our story, who's going to spread the news for us, and actively engage them in convincing them to pick up our story. We'd want to share it with them in a memorable way. So anything we can do beyond just, here's a press release, here's something you might be interested in, it's building those relationships. Media relations is a key component of public relations. If we had to break it down into 4 steps, the traditional model, that would be just about it. But it has changed along with technology. So traditionally, a company would have a message. We would depend on media outlets to share that message and hope that we could reach the audience that they had. They owned the audience. We had a message. We would do what we could to build a relationship for them to share that for us. Since the advent of social media and the way that people engage with brands on social media, perhaps you follow brands with your Facebook or Twitter accounts, and they message you, they give you insights into the company, they give you perhaps special offers. They build an audience too, and essentially there's a way to actually bypass the media gatekeeper when companies can actually engage individually with people. But it goes beyond that. If I had to design a new model, it would look something like this. We're the company, we've got a message to share, and we own the audience, or at least a portion of it. The more that we do a good job of building this audience with our paid media and our owned media, we develop this earned media. There's that paid, owned, and earned again. Then this traditional media, the outside sources, now not just press, but also bloggers and other social media users, they follow this. They say, okay, I'd like a piece of that audience. I'd like them to follow us because we make money off of the influence that we have through the audience. And they may be more interested in the fact that we're sharing messaging and building audience and be more compelled to share messaging that's already working. So there's a ton of examples that follow this particular method. Essentially, if a company went from 1,000 followers to 40,000 followers overnight because of something they did, traditional media would be all over it because they'd say, okay, here's something that's compelling a lot of people to follow. We want that audience to follow us so that we can monetize our content that we're producing, and we've got a better chance of having more followers down the road. So there's been a shift in the balance of power to a large degree. The traditional media still hold a lot of sway. They hold a lot of power because of the readers and the followers that they have, and we still want them, but we have a secondary way to bring them in and a way to entice them more than just, here's a good story, would you care to share it? So if we're going to go back to this traditional model, I want to show you 3 methods that tend to make a lot of sense for companies in order to engage in getting good good traditional press. First of all, be an expert. If you can, this is one way. If you can establish yourself with some sort of expertise in a topic, you have a much better chance of being contacted by media members when that topic comes up in the course of their regular press engagements and investigations. If you establish yourself as an authority on a topic in some way, you get credibility with your current customers, and your prospects are informed about the expertise that you have. So whenever it comes time for them to make a purchase decision, they may think, this person seemed to be an expert, they had a lot of credibility, that their brand comes to the top of my list when I'm considering the different criteria. The way we do this is creating starter content. We can create a research report. We can write a book. We can do a survey, a study, and share our findings with a relevant audience, and that gives us a chance to form credibility and a kind of a paper trail that the media may follow. That seems pretty simple in concept. It actually is very time-consuming and difficult to establish credibility. It doesn't just fall in your lap. So a great example of this in Atchison, Kansas, is our own Mary Carol Garrity. Mary Carol, as you may know, is the owner of Nell Hills store in downtown Atchison. And she developed such a following just for showing excellence in the way that she buys and the way that she displays things in her store, and also in home decor and office decor, that the Kansas City Star gave her a regular scheduled column, and she was able to turn her credibility into sort of a local celebrity, and has really paid off dividends for her company, as she's seen as the local expert in that sort of home decor. Next model is be something new, interesting, and useful. If we have a new solution to a problem, remember we talked about problem generation. How do we get someone to recognize they've got a problem that they would then step out and try to find something to purchase to fill that, right? If we can offer a new solution to an existing problem, or be an improvement to an existing solution, we've got a shot at catching some press, because that is newsworthy. A new solution to an existing problem, or here's a new problem we didn't know we had, here's someone that's looking out for us. One of the best ways to do this is send your product to review. Send it to industry magazines, send it to blogs or journals, give them a reviewer's guide. There are, for pretty much any product topic or any industry, there are people that review those. There are people that are these opinion leaders that share their knowledge, and giving them insider information is what they really want, because they cultivate an audience based on their expertise, and giving them inside information before something comes out, or giving them a chance to review it, enhances their credibility with their followers. So giving these opinion leaders our stuff to review is a win-win all the way around. Make their lives easy. Make your product that they're reviewing something remarkable, something newsworthy, with your business as a central character. So an example of this, and you may have heard me talk about this before, my brother-in-law owns this company, Seymour Screen Excellence. And this is a story that ran in a publication called Electronic House. It's an online publication for audio-video enthusiasts. And they ran some press on a review of his new Enlighter 4K home theater screen, and does this fairly consistently. And for the people that are heavy into that market, they see the credibility that this is formed, because the people that review it give it high grades. The last way, right here. Be entertaining. So let's say we're not particularly credible, and we may not have a particularly new solution to a problem, but we have a really interesting personality. There's that old saying of everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, and this is what this is all about. So if we've got someone in our organization who has a bigger, larger-than-life personality, or isn't afraid of controversy or forming some sort of celebrity, that can be a way to gain attention. And celebrities often take their celebrity and spiral that into business success based on this particular model. Think about all the things that the Kardashians have touched, and Paris Hilton, and basically any celebrity that has attached their name to a product. You don't have to start out as a celebrity if you can contribute to well-respected public forums and say, and give some outrageous commentary, or feature that we've done something really outrageously good that has a tendency to get picked up. And maybe one of the most noteworthy examples of the past several years is this guy, Matthew Lesko, who all he did was write a book. He did research on how to get government grants to do things that people do really without government grants, and used his own kind of outrageous persona to sell that book and to get people involved in looking for ways to get grants to remodel their homes, to write a book, and to do other things. Didn't necessarily display credibility, but celebrity. It lasted about 15 minutes, but I think he might still be out there somewhere. So generating publicity is more art than science, I would say. And those are only three kind of common ways to do it. There are many, many others. But what this really leads to is a discussion about what some of the more traditional marketing methods to generate publicity, and where the line kind of blurs between some of these. And so that kind of leads us to this discussion of what we call guerrilla marketing. About 30 years ago, J. Conrad Levinson wrote this book called Guerrilla Marketing that talked essentially about using unconventional marketing methods that are inexpensive to get the maximum results. We got small resources, we want to get maximum results. It's called guerrilla marketing because it's based somewhat on guerrilla warfare. I'm fighting a much larger enemy who has a lot more resources and a lot more power. So what do? I have to be unconventional. I can't fight them on their terms. I have to do something very, very different and very, very unique that's remarkable, gets attention, and then I can slink back into the shadows until I have enough resources to try again. This works best for new brands that need to generate awareness quickly, and they establish a brand personality that's fun, that's whimsical, that's really interesting. Companies like Red Bull have really made this their hallmark. Pretty much all guerrilla marketing until they started to have enough resources to delve into advertising. This little example here, you may have seen before. This is a little character from an Adult Swim cartoon. And all this really was a circuit board. And in the days after September 11th, 2001, they were promoting this cartoon. It was, the name of it escapes me, but I'm sure it'll come back to me in just a moment. Promoting this cartoon just by putting up these little lighted signs into subways in several major cities. And so at night, when these things were lit up, people would say, okay, I don't know what that is. I need to find out what that character is. But in the daytime, they would see this little switchboard full of LED lights and batteries. In the days after September 11th, 2001, someone saw this, and the city of Boston kind of freaked out, and they shut down the subway for a full day while they tried to investigate what these things were. When it came to light, it was actually just a promotional sign for a cartoon. Representatives from Cartoon Network that made this this show appeared on all the news outlets, making outlandish statements, and really took what was a pretty minor publicity stunt and turned it into several days worth of press, which is a great example, I think, of using some guerrilla marketing tactics whenever you have the opportunity to blow them up. They let's not use that term, blow them up, because people thought this may have been a bomb. So to actually spiral that into more publicity. Here's some other great examples. Happens a lot in major cities, and this is about once again about the functional benefit of the product. Mr. Clean turns a dingy street into a clean stripe. You can't buy that sort of advertising. People would pay. People would take pictures of this and spread the word for you because it was something so unique and out of the ordinary. The smart car fits into tight places. Smart doesn't have a huge advertising budget like major car companies. They said, look, you can use a shoehorn to fit my car into a space. Very clever. And just using a lot of public space is kind of interesting. Denver water there. Happens a lot in transit. You can find all kinds of great examples if you're interested. Just look up guerrilla marketing. Very fun stuff. One way we get this, kind of a subset of what we call buzz marketing, getting intense word of mouth. Word of mouth marketing is the most credible because it happens from person to person. We see this through social media. We see this through review sites like Yelp or Google reviews. If we can originate from a spokesperson or brand ambassador, I tell you, if you're an author, the best day of your life is if Oprah recommends that book, because you've got an army of women that follow her book reviews, and that's a great day for you. So once it starts from a spokesperson or brand ambassador, there's this instant buzz that comes with it. It's a conversation starter, gets people talking. And then there's viral marketing. I really dislike this term. It gets overused. But essentially, if you have a piece of interesting branded content, like a video or a piece of software that people can spread from one to another, and I'm sure you've taken part in this. Someone sent you a funny video. You may have posted it to your Twitter account or to your Facebook account. Other people saw that and shared it. So one person sees it, shares it with three. Those three people share it with three more. And all of a sudden, everyone's infected with the idea virus. So when is it a good idea to engage in buzz marketing or guerrilla marketing? Typically, this works best when you've got a unique brand or you've got a new product. Those tend to perform better with this particular model because that's exactly who it was intended for. If we're a very, very well funded company, these can come off more as stunts than true kind of guerrilla grassroots movements. You need your brand to stand out. So it doesn't work for all categories of products. Typically, you need to have a product that caters more towards younger people, more connected people than with older customers. You can use memorable advertising. You can spiral your advertising into guerrilla marketing and into publicity. And it helps if you get customers involved or get your fans involved. Buzz marketing works because people trust someone else's opinion, and people like to give their opinions. Give them something remarkable to talk about and give them a reason to share it. That's the news on public relations, on PR, on publicity, and on guerrilla marketing. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back in class.